Welcome back to the show. So this episode, unfortunately, is a little bit shorter because I asked a bunch of really cool, juicy questions that turns out might not be too compliant with the regulatory body. But anyways, whatever we have left, that's still juicy nonetheless. On with the show. All right, so Steph, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. All right, first episode where I'm not in my bedroom on a Zoom call. Right, why don't you tell us about the nature of your business?
So I run a tutoring agency called Leapfrog Learning Tutors, and essentially I pair teachers with students for the purposes of tutoring, and we provide in-home tutoring with certified teachers in all subjects and all grades.
All subjects and all grades?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like K to 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. And do you do any of the teaching yourself, or do you just focus on assigning the tutors with the students?
I'm a teacher myself. I have my Bachelor of Education from U of T. However, I don't personally tutor. So I find other teachers who are certified and qualified, and I screen them and I interview them and I make sure that they police check, and then I match them with the appropriate students. And being a teacher myself, I can advise them of what works and what doesn't work. If they have any challenges with the student, they come to me and I support them with that, finding resources for them, etc.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And when did you realize that you wanted to start this business specifically?
So being a teacher, I knew that the classroom setting wasn't for me. I just realized that it was hard to cater to students with high needs in a ratio of 1 to 30, one teacher and 30 students. And so after Teachers College, I had gotten some experience with tutoring and really saw the benefit to one-on-one tutoring, just investing in the students holistically, their study habits, their confidence, their comprehension of the material, and just getting them to understand themselves better as a learner.
Yeah.
And then I just saw an opportunity with being able to pass on my experiences with holistic tutoring to other teachers, other tutors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what makes it holistic specifically?
Holistic in the sense that we're not just focusing on content. So I know a lot of the other tutoring companies out there primarily just get a tutor, get a teacher, and just send them out, and they focus on just memorization or understanding of the content. But I see that there's greater need to develop students holistically. So as I mentioned before, the confidence building, if they don't believe in themselves and they don't, if they have more of a mindset, a fixed mindset, so just believing that you're intelligent or you're stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to say bad words.
Are you allowed to say? You're allowed to say anything you want on this podcast. I don't know what will happen to your credentials, but at least here you can say whatever you want. So stupid. Can you tell me more about that?
So just giving them the permission to grow as learners and to persevere, develop perseverance, as well as develop study habits, organization, time management. I think that those are essential skills that they're going to need. Students are going to need not only for the current grade that they're in, but for post-secondary studies and for life. And so that's what we're trying to prepare students for, not only
not just
the
for
grade,
school, but for life as well.
Yeah, and so all of these things will contribute to that.
Okay, so I find it really interesting you mentioned stupid. So what would an example of a really stupid student look like?
No, that's what we're trying to teach against. So a lot of times people think that they are either intelligent or stupid, or they are skilled or they are unskilled in a specific skill, such as math or even like skateboarding. But we're trying to convey the message to students, and this is called the growth mindset. This is something that all of our tutors are on board with and that they try to include in their sessions. And the growth mindset is just saying that everyone has potential to improve in a subject if they just put forth the effort. So focusing on improvement over perfection.
So a parent comes to you and says, my kid's kind of dumb. This may or may not be my own story here. And they say, all right, Steph, here's my dumb kid, and go ahead and fix him. Now you mentioned that you want to work against this kind of label or this mindset that's kind of happening to a lot of students in the public education system where you're either smart or dumb. How would you explain this to a parent?
I think, well, I always tell the parents and I tell the tutors too that it's a team effort. So it's the tutor, the student, the parent, and the teacher that are all working together as a team to improve student success and student achievement. And so if the parent's mindset is hindering the student's growth, then I think that we need to educate the parent on how to adopt a growth mindset or the importance of growth mindset so they too can feed into their child through that way.
Let's just say you had to start this business all over again.
Okay.
What would you do differently this time?
I think the first thing I would do differently is to find a community sooner than later. And so a community that is willing to journey with you and to provide you with accountability and support. I think the journey of entrepreneurship is pretty lonely, and I think that we as entrepreneurs often experience unique struggles that people with 9-to-5 jobs don't face. A lot of different types of insecurities, different challenges with clients, financial struggles, and whatnot. So I think having that group of people that you can connect with and support each other through the journey will be beneficial. And also just, it's a constant learning journey. And I think having people who can spur that learning is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely better than not being surrounded by people who
or by doing it alone, right?
Yeah.
And feeling isolated or dejected or having moments of poor confidence.
So when did you realize that you need to find that community?
When?
How long into the journey?
Maybe like a year in. I think. I don't know.
Year in, you're like, this sucks. This is so bad. I'm gonna give up.
I think I just had a lot of questions around a year in of how do I handle these situations, or a lot of my struggles were being repeated, and where I only had myself to think through them, and none of my friends or my peers had been going through the same thing. And so I think at that point I realized I need to have people who can encourage me and who can keep me on track.
Yeah. My friends are all like, oh, the coffee machine at work broke again. Oh, woe is me.
Yeah, totally different struggles.
Can't believe this. Oh, can you believe I have to stay an extra half an hour at work?
You're so lucky. You get to walk 30 seconds to your desk and 30 seconds home. I have to commute 2 hours.
What?
Sound familiar, dude?
That sounds, I don't know. Like, I don't commit 2 hours. I commute a total of 4 every day. You just zoom through all those questions like really quickly.
Yeah.
Did you like plan and like script them all? Okay.
I told you I wanted to prepare.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have like a whole, how big is that doc?
It's just a page. But I just copy and pasted stuff from my website.
Okay. So.
If you want, you can just ask me more specific questions and we can just put them in.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a really good talker.
See how you're talking right now? This is actually more natural.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk quiet.
It's a shotgun mic. It's like gonna pick up everything.
Oh.
Why do you think I have the big thing hanging on top of the camera? It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be interesting because the first half of this podcast is gonna be like, hi, I'm Steph. This is my script. And then now,
It's like,
hello, I'm a real person. I'm more than just my script.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's like,
They see
you've
the
caught
real
me.
Yeah. Okay,
Right?
you better not put this on.
Yeah, so now that I've got you to pop that, oh my goodness, is that my battery running out or is that my...
Dead.
Alright, before we continue with the show, here's a quick and shameless self-plug. So StartMyBiz, what we do is we help businesses get registered and to file their taxes. All the mandatory but boring and headache-inducing things. If you're not in the place where you want to start your business yet, but you want to check if your business name is available, follow the link to our website where we'll actually do a free preliminary name search for you. And then we'll stay in contact with you to answer any questions that you have at this time. No obligations to purchase. You want to reverse the interview role? You want to like take control of this podcast and ask me questions?
What value of community did you find beneficial in your entrepreneurial journey?
What value of community did I find beneficial in my journey of entrepreneurship?
Is that no?
What value?
What benefit did you find? What, you know what I mean?
Okay, well, the value of community in entrepreneurship, I would say everything, because yeah, like you mentioned.
Great answer.
For me specifically, I'm kind of used to I don't want to say like I'm used to being lonely. I'm used to working alone, right? So I'm used to working with people, but then That just got me into this really weird place in life where it was always me by myself doing things, and feeling like nobody really understands me. Partially it's because of my own design, because I created a circumstance around me where I'm not communicating with like-minded people on similar missions to my own. So with entrepreneurship, I love being part of a community where everyone else is doing something different, right? Like
where everyone else, sorry?
Is doing something a little different.
Yes.
So if I'm hanging around with people who are doing the same thing, then it's a bit of like an inbred feedback loop where we're talking about the same things, we're talking about the same problems. There's always going to be some who are a little bit further ahead, but then it gets a little bit boring for me, right? I'm kind of like, what I'm doing here. Like, what does this have to do with the main business, right? I like being connected.
Boundaries.
Yeah, and also it's I find out like growth in any area, in any aspect of life happens when there's a lot of communication back and forth. So if I'm connecting with people from different industries, just things blowing up behind us here. Don't mind the steampunk sounds happening. So if I'm connected with people from different industries, different backgrounds, different job roles, missions, and I hear from them their challenges, their problems, there's always a lot of crossover, or there's always a lot of standard practices in different industries that I could bring on and adopt into my own. Things that I would never have thought of. So that's where I find a lot of value in creative work. So people who are doing a lot of design work, doing a lot of client work, stuff like that. And I come from a sales background myself, so when I hear about people's different issues and how people communicate with the clients in their field, it really helps me, because sometimes I go, I have a client that works in the industry. I work with someone who had that kind of background, and then I could really get more into the mindset of someone who's from that industry, from practitioners of that industry who are not my clients.
That was a great answer.
Just like a fly, just zooming about.
It'll add some interest in the video, some visual interest.
Yeah, I won't have to put. If I forget to put a note there, you're just gonna see us like dodging here back and forth, and it's like, what are they doing? Like, what's in the coffee? Like, any more questions since you've hijacked my podcast?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the growth mindset? Do you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset?
I'm making a lot of assumptions based on what I think a growth and fixed mindset is. Can you clarify specifically so I'm not like answering based on like the wrong assumption here?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you answer based on? I'm not going to cut that out. I think like the bloopers are part of the entertainment value here.
So, to my understanding,
yeah.
A growth mindset is.
I hope you understand it.
Is just an attitude that you can always improve on something, as I mentioned before. So developing grit, which is passion and perseverance to the end goal. And I think a good illustration of a growth mindset or grit is the story of the little train that could.
Oh yeah,
that's what it's called. Where everyone passes by this train that's broken, and big ones come by, and they're like, "Oh, I can't. You're not worth it." But then this little train comes by and moves the, what do you call it?
I don't know
trains.
Carries... Sorry, I'm not in the train industry. I may have had relatives in the past who are part of the train industry, but personally, no.
So
that's a history joke.
So yeah, just the little train that could, just pushing along and chugging along and believing in themselves and then being able to do it. Whereas the fixed mindset is more you're either smart or you're not smart.
Okay.
And you're going to stay that way for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am definitely not a fixed mindset.
Okay.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this. Now, the question then is, to what degree of a growth mindset do I have?
I think you could be fixed and growth in different areas of your life.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
But in general, I'm like the weird guy. I like to just test out weird ideas. A lot of times just to see what would happen.
Okay.
Right? Like, why can't you pour a shot in bubble tea?
I'm for that.
Exactly. It's awesome. Have you tried it?
No.
There's a fly. That fly is really distracting.
Yeah. I think it's attracted to you.
Thanks. Probably, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. Back to your original question. Now we're talking about the little train that could.
Yeah.
Growth versus fixed mindset. I think I've always had a growth mindset. I don't know where it comes from. It might be just something I'm born with because I was raised with a very fixed mindset type of family, right? It was essentially, would you say it's a fixed mindset if they're, the typical immigrant narrative for how they want to raise their children is get a good education, so you can go to a good university, get good grades so you can get a good university education and then get a good stable job, and then your life will be okay, otherwise you'll have no future. Would that be considered a fixed mindset because it's one pathway and there's really no deviation left or right on any way else to approach this complicated journey that is life?
I don't know if I would call that a fixed mindset because I think it's very independent. Like it's how you felt or how your brain process or thinking process through that journey as opposed to your situation or your environment. So I can give you an example for myself. I think I had a fixed mindset growing up because all through elementary school I had always received good grades without trying, and so I thought I was naturally smart relative to my peers. And then as school became more challenging and I started to not get as good grades, I thought I was stupid. When in actuality I just needed to put forth more effort, and I think everyone needs to put forth more effort in different areas of their life that they might not be as strong in.
I'm definitely putting zero effort in my physical fitness right now. I've been thinking about working out for years.
So I've actually been reading a book, and it's Grit by Angela Duckworth, I think her name is.
I heard about the TED Talk, solid title, didn't click on it.
So she has a TED Talk too, and she was saying that there was a study, I believe it's a Harvard study, the 5-minute treadmill study, where it's at a steep incline and a fast pace, and the men who persevered longer on that task actually fared better in life. They had a higher income, better marriage, better social life, etc. So there is a correlation.
That explains my income, marriage, social life, and because I can't even handle 5 minutes on a treadmill. No, that's interesting because
at a steep incline and a fast pace.
Oh, at a steep incline on a fast pace. Yes. Okay. That's interesting because it's. I don't know. I don't know if that. Did she talk about if it was a causal relation or if it's more of a correlation?
I don't know.
You have no idea?
I don't know.
Why cite the source if you can't back up the data?
I don't know. She just summarized it.
Right? Correlation does not equate to causation, people. So if you cannot run 5 minutes consistently every day on a steep incline treadmill, like myself, it doesn't mean that, oh my goodness, the batteries are running out. Doesn't mean you're screwed. Growth mindset. You're not fixed. You can just get on that treadmill. Do as I say, not as I do. So if our audience here wants to learn more about what it is that you do, or if we have some people who want to get some more income as a teacher doing something they know and love, how do they get in contact with you?
You can find us on Instagram at Leapfrog Learning Tutors.
That's all for this interview. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with the different interviews that we have with more business owners.